Hello, welcome to Creative Connections, where I chat to other creatives and find out about their journey and learn from their experience as creatives. I am Dami Im, and today I'm joined by a very special guest, Georgina Kreutzer. Georgina is an Australian visual artist, and she has a very distinct, beautiful artistic style. I love following her on Instagram, by the way. Some of her clientele include Lexus, Adobe, Strathmore Artist Papers, Mikador, and Faber-Castell, who she is an ambassador for. On top of that, Georgina is also an associate at Ever Architecture Studio, and I'm so lucky to have this chat with her today. Yeah, welcome.
Thanks. Thanks for having me.
Okay, so I want to talk about your art because it's so beautiful. Did you always love drawing and painting
Yeah, so this is such an easy one to answer. We all draw as kids and I just never stopped drawing. But it was in late teens and late high school, I would say, where I really went more intentional into my art practice and tried to get better. So I did art at school, obviously.
Yeah.
That's where I was exposed to a lot of artists and art theory, and was able to really look at artists that I liked and try to emulate their styles, and that's where I was able to slowly over years funnel into something that I was comfortable with.
So after high school, did you go and study art?
I would have loved to. I was encouraged by a very academic family to do something with a bit more, brother's a lawyer, sister's a doctor. So, I'm already the odd one out being the creative type. So going into architecture was a good balance of art skills and physics, which I also did in high school and really enjoyed.
Were you an academic student? Were you very good at it?
Some would say I was an overachiever. I just tried very hard.
Right.
I just tried very hard. Yeah, definitely.
Did you enjoy it?
I did, yeah. I mean, it's a really stressful degree and it's 5 years long.
Oh, wow.
But it's really rewarding as well. But I just kept doing art on the side because they're very distinct forms of art, visual arts and architecture, even though they definitely come under that same umbrella.
Right.
Yeah, creative umbrella.
So as artists, you have to motivate yourself. You've got to do the work. Sometimes no one's going to care, but how do you keep yourself doing and
keep
putting
motivated?
And keep working on it?
Yeah, you're right.
When you have all that time.
I don't have an agent or a manager, which I wish I did. I think I should have done it a couple of years ago by now, but anyway, I need to draw like, I guess, someone who loves to exercise needs to exercise, or someone who loves to sing feels the draw to sing. So one way or another, I get that out. And I think I'm motivated more by, there's a point in a drawing, because the style that I do, I would say is like, I don't know how to explain it. Realism, but with a sense of ethereal.
By the way, if you haven't seen her drawings, you have to check it out. What's the best way to check it out? Your Instagram?
Instagram's where I update the most.
You must check it out. You'll know what we're talking about. It's incredible. Anyway, sorry to interrupt.
There's a point at which it becomes this 2D, like kind of blocked color on the page, and it really starts to pop out. And that's a really motivating moment for me when it's starting to really shape up. I just get a buzz out of it, and it's so superficial, really. But I just get such a buzz out of seeing that vision start to actually emerge on the page. And then, of course, sharing it with the world and having people inspired.
The energy you get from the response that people give you.
Yeah, just that connection. I think if I had to like hold up my little drawing to like a stadium of people, I'd probably throw up and faint. But like to be able to share it with a lot of young people. It's crazy.
Because you've got, how many followers do you have? You've got like...
over 200.
200K. That's pretty epic. Do you think about, do you have like a strategy with Instagram? Is that something you think about like as part of advancing your career as an artist?
I'm conscious of it now because it is the only way I make money through art, really. I can't say I have a strategy except that I inadvertently keep up to date with how Instagram works. been on there a long time. Like, I'm sure
changing, right?
It keeps changing, and you have to keep up, and you have to be mindful of how they're changing and know when to resist kind of jumping onto the trends. I know that right now Reels are being elevated to the top of the algorithm because of Instagram wanting to kind of bat out TikTok. Yeah.
Have you done a Reel?
A couple. I know that if I jumped onto it a lot, it would work in my favor numbers wise, but I'm like, it's just not really, I don't know. It might lend itself well to the video, like the quick little drawing videos that I do, but it just breaks up the workflow too much to be peddling to what Instagram wants you to do. So it's a bit of a balance.
It takes so much time, doesn't it?
It takes so much time. Like every video that I do, like 60-second video, it's like a week of filming. And then I've got, at least an hour's worth of like high quality video. And then I'm just trimming it down to those like the most impactful seconds. Just takes so much time to do. And
and it
then
goes
do it
like
for
that.
Reels as well. And then if you want to like switch it over to YouTube, and it's like you've already got it in the portrait orientation, which is what I'm already limiting to myself to for Instagram. It's just so many things to be thinking about. Strategy, posting frequently, but not posting anything inauthentic to reach that goal.
Everybody's on TikTok.
Yeah.
I don't.
Are you on TikTok?
I am, but
yeah,
like
same.
I don't.
It's
it
fun.
just takes a lot of time to make anything. So I also don't want it to take away from my real job. Like
absolutely.
Like I don't have enough time to make music, and now I have to spend it on TikTok, and like I love doing YouTube because you get a little more depth, and I get to talk to cool people like you, and that's fun. But it's like. Yeah. You can't keep up with everything. I guess you got to pick the ones
you gotta pick and choose.
Yeah, that lets you be authentic, and it feels a little more
the ones that mesh
natural.
well with your craft. So I'm happy for that to be Instagram mainly, like chiefly for me.
You were talking about your style, which you were describing like realistic, but what did you say?
Yeah,
it's hard to describe.
Once I nailed it. I can't remember what I said though, but it was something like.
It's like
an ethereal realism. I don't want to call myself a realism artist.
Okay.
Because realism just being, for anyone who doesn't know, like an artwork that takes on a form of reality as opposed to an abstract work. So that can be portraits, it can be landscape, it can be products. So applied to anything, but just trying to keep it real.
But like, it's got that ethereal, and you've got how do you've got the blues and the
I think it's the color palette. The color palette
really
is a defining feature.
Beautiful.
Which, man, I love so many colors, but I keep going back to those like cools and warms and
the contrast.
Those. That's
what
right.
makes it really
contrasting
interesting.
Those complementary colors.
How did you find your style?
I don't know how to answer that actually. I think I love the fact that Instagram is a bit of a diary, like that you can just flick back through and just see it evolve. There was a point which I drew solely from lots of magazines, lots of like high fashion photography. I drew you once, by the way. Yes, I did.
You
and I
didn't
need
show
to find
me.
it. No, I wanted to bring
me.
it today. I'll find it.
Okay.
But back then I drew a lot of mostly portraiture. And I think I was inspired by anything that had interesting lighting, and that's definitely carried through to today, whether it be, I do all sorts today, but.
And you draw a lot of moons?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is that explainable? Or
that is. So that was a bit of a counter to a lot of commercial work I'd been doing that year, and I was feeling a bit drained by commercial work, and I wanted to take a step back and do something that was just, it's like the simplest geometry, just a circle, and something that is so easily related. Like everyone knows the moon. And also it is somewhere on the edge of a landscape and an abstract and realism, which I really liked. I could just sit there and just kind of splash watercolors on this vast piece of paper. And that was the first moon I did in, I don't know, end of 2018, I think 2017 maybe, I can't remember. Yeah, so that was just to take a break. And a face, for instance, it's so easy to ruin, make look bad.
Yeah.
the moon is just, lots and just detail finding, and it's not perfectly accurate.
What you believe in and making a change, positive change to this world and with your art. So how do you see that being blended and magnified through what you can do?
Yeah, I think it's important, you know, as an artist on Instagram, it's such a community thing now. Like back when I started, it was just you posted what you wanted. You just posted a sketch that you did that day. And it was fun seeing how many people would see it and comment and like. And now it's more about the community for me. Like it's such an amazing community. Like followers come and go, and I don't even think or worry about it anymore because every time you post something that's authentic or speaking to something that you care about, or just a drawing, say for me, like a drawing that I'm actually really proud of, and I really nailed the kind of concepts that I had in mind, you'll have people come across you. Like I think God provides there. Like you'll have the right people will kind of come into your life and either be inspired by that or bring something to you. And I think just keep posting what feels right,
authentic to you. And sometimes that means that you lose followers because of what you
for sure.
shared.
Yeah.
Have you experienced that?
Oh yeah, for sure. I gained a lot when I was posting classic cars for a while, like drawing cars, I don't know whether it was the subject that people were interested in, or I did have a routine where I would post a bit of a sneaky early shot and then a video and then the final, and I was doing that. And I gained a lot in a short space of time. And then when I kind of drifted into moons later on, and I gained a different kind of subset of following, people who were interested in that, and lost some of the earlies. You know, every time you evolve. And then there are people who have been there since I was, you know, posting pictures with filters. Like, do they even have those names anymore? I don't know. Mayfair was my favorite, but
Nashville.
It made it like stick out. Yeah. But, and it just like it cut at first, but then you're like, oh no, that's fine, because if those people aren't interested in what I'm doing anymore, you know, they're not going to be engaged in the conversation if there is to be one, and they're not going to be engaged in purchasing my art. So, you know
what, that's something I think about a lot, because, you know, like some people have followed me since the X Factor, which is 2013. I was a kid, I feel like time. And also it's like people thought that I was going to keep singing, you know, the styles that I was singing back then, doing covers, and, you know, and then now I've evolved. I do my own music and I dress, you know, how I really want to dress, and it's not what some people would have liked to see. So, you know, I see that people don't, like, they'll tell me like, oh, I miss your whatever, and you've changed.
That era.
Yeah. And they'd go, oh, that's not really you. But I'm like, you just got to keep being authentic and keep evolving. And I think as an artist, I think that's so important, right?
Yeah.
And
it happens naturally anyway. Although I do say I envy artists who can do the same iteration of the same painting over and over and over,
like decades,
and they just sell them for like 5 figures, you know, just every time. I'm like, it looks so therapeutic. You've nailed down exactly what you like, and people love it.
And you're making like millions. Okay.
Not to say those people don't slowly evolve. Like if you look over the years, it hasn't shifted. But
are you still into your moon phase? Or?
Yeah, I think I always will be. Because it's just a thing that I like. I mean, that first moon I wasn't originally going to share with anybody, and then I thought, it actually turned out really good.
It did.
So I put it up on the wall, and I was doing the final details, and I just set up the camera and decided I would share it. But like,
it's so timeless as well. No one's gonna go, oh, that was so you know, 5 years ago. It'll always be, you know, beautiful. Honestly, and relevant.
Yeah, a bit of escapism, I think, was the appeal, and for other people as well, because I didn't realize it would garner a response the way it did.
Thank you so much for being my very first guest on Creative Connections. It's been so much fun to chat to you. And honestly, I just wanted an excuse to talk more with you about your art and your journey. So thank you so much for coming here.
Thank you, Dami. Thanks for having me.
Everyone, follow Georgina, follow her art, and you'll be amazed. And remember to, subscribe, comment and like to see more interesting videos on my YouTube channel. And until next time, bye.